You're watching CBC Sports. My name's Anastasia Busis, and I have the distinct pleasure of chatting with Reece Big Rig Howden. Buddy, so nice to see you. Two-time Crystal Globe winner. You're leading the Canadian men, sitting third overall in the World Cup. How you doing?
Good. Happy to be home for a bit, but it's been a fun season.
You just won gold in Georgia. That's got to feel pretty good, especially given that you're competing in Calgary. Freudian slip, Canada, in a few days.
Yep. Oh, for sure. The wins are big, and I'll take the ups and downs if the ups are wins. So it's been sweet. Have 4 wins already this year, which is unreal. So with still 4 more races left to go. So hopefully we can bump those numbers up again.
You had said kind of like, I've had some big wins and then a few disappointments. Is it unfair to say ski cross is an inconsistent sport, like just because it's such a game of cat and mouse, or how do you see your sport?
I wouldn't say it's inconsistent, but it's definitely has a lot of factors.
Okay.
And some of those are a little out of your control. Like just comparing it to a similar event like Alpine, no one's ever going to come up behind you and pass you, right? And the thing is too, like, problem with ski cross and Alpine is like you can be like the third fastest guy on that track, and if you're in a heat with the 2 other fastest guys and you're third, you don't move through that heat, right? Yeah. So and you'll be not even in the top 24. So it's a tricky event that way.
When someone is coming up behind you and you can feel them, like, what's going through your head? I would be scared, I think. My inner dialogue would be like, ah!
Yeah, sometimes you'll see people if they're leading and then someone will come up next to them and like over a jump or something. Lots of time people will like forget exactly what the move is on the jump, whether it's like a pop, press, ride, and they'll go and you'll just see them like sky bomb it and then almost crash and stuff like that. So like sometimes people get rattled. Other times you're just sitting there in your bully and you're just watching this guy just choo past you. And it sucks getting past for sure. But, if you do a lot of leading, which I usually do, you get past.
I hated getting past. It's not a very fun feeling.
Yeah.
Cultus Lake, BC, you're the pride of Cultus Lake. What's your hometown like?
Well, it's nice. It's kind of like a bit of a summer village, kind of back where I grew up. But I grew up kind of up on the side of International Ridge, right in the mountains, and it was great. In the winter it was completely quiet. You could ride your sled around the road and up into the hills. And when I was a little kid, we grew up riding a little kitty cat out on the rugby field and stuff. But it was great. And then in the summers it was awesome fishing and swimming and water sports and whatnot, and mountain biking. I was really lucky. Looking back, I remember when I was a kid, I wished I was a little more in the city or in town, not the city, but in Chilliwack there, just because I could be a little more with friends and stuff. But fortunately, I have a younger brother, Jesse, and we do the exact same stuff pretty much. He's a big skier and we're always out there in the mountains and stuff. So we spent a lot of time together, which was great. And it was, looking back, it was perfect. Exactly the way I would want to raise kids if I did it, for sure. I understand why my parents stayed there.
You're very outdoorsy. Has that helped you kind of, or changed your mindset as to how you tackle sport?
I think it's changed my comfort level a lot in uncomfortable situations. Like back when I was doing a lot of schooling, like I went and finished a diploma there and was pretty much doing it full time. Like a lot of people, they take just a couple courses. I would go and I'd take either a full semester or no semester. And then in 2021, right before the Olympics, I just did the whole semester and just hammered it out. And it's funny too, like going into exams, I would be going into the exam and I'm talking to these guys and they're all stressed out about it and stuff like that. I'm like, dude, you're not going to get hurt. It's fine, right? No big deal. It's not like, you might, blow your knee or something on a ski cross track, or I did a lot of solo backcountry trips and stuff. Like I think the most amount of time I've spent without seeing another person is 11 days. So out there backpacking and stuff like that.
Do you
So,
watch Alone? Sorry, I gotta ask.
yeah, I've watched
That's
Alone.
like my favorite show of all time. And I'm like, I want to see if I can survive in the wilderness.
Yeah, well, the funny thing too is there, like, it probably helps them quite a bit to actually be talking to the camera and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, one of the things I remember is because I'm not talking to the camera, I'm just doing my own thing. But I remember you don't laugh,
Oh.
really.
Yeah, I guess, Or if you're
when you're on
laughing,
your
you're
own.
laughing at yourself.
Yeah, but I remember not laughing, and then just also you always kind of just keep yourself a little too busy, so you don't have a whole lot of downtime. You have to be strategic with that. But yeah, like, you're up in the mountains, and, like, if you fall, it's on you and stuff like that. So comfort level of trusting myself is quite high, and being in situations where when things go wrong, they can go really wrong. So yeah, really comfortable when it comes to that sort of stuff and risk management and things like that. So that's made me be able to be calm in a lot more situations, it seems like. And
Yeah.
and then also, like, just having a very high intensity hobby outside of sport is pretty sweet. And I really like it because, like when I come home from the ski hill, like, I'm not always just, like, thinking about skiing and stuff. I like to turn off and kind of plan things for when I'm at home, and I'm very busy for the most part all the time, and whether it's doing skiing, sport, work, like, I think I actually do quite a bit of work when I'm back home.
Yeah.
Whether I'm surveying, sometimes I work for there's a company that lives right next to me, and they do road building. So sometimes I'll fill in for spots there. I work for my dad. I can do construction and things like that. Like, I just like to be busy.
So I mean, obviously, like, we're not me anymore, but you are a well-oiled machine to be an athlete. But there is something about, like, doing some construction just to get your mind away from the high-performance element of it.
Yeah.
I've heard that from multiple people.
Yeah, for sure. It's it's nice to come home, and then also, like, even this year I got into something that's, like, new, which is cool. So I've always kind of been interested in, like, rodeo and cowboying and working with horses and stuff. Yet I had no access to them growing up, and slowly kind of, like, was able to create my own access. I got involved in an internship down in Texas and went and did that. We were riding horses, bucking bulls, and then also the internship, what it actually was helping out in, like, a warehouse that sold, like, Western themed clothing and stuff like that. It's called Rodeo Time.
Okay.
And so that was kind of like my first step to, like, how to saddle a horse and working around stock. Even just, like, running a horse down a trail. Then also I got on 10 bulls when I was down there, so we were bucking bulls.
Okay, sorry, buddy. Listen, I do know just a little bit about rodeo. You do not have the body type of a bull rider. I don't want to squash your dreams, but bull riders are usually quite petite, to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
How did that go? I cannot believe this. This is an exclusive right here, right now.
Well, it actually went pretty well because, for the most part, I'd say rodeo is a little bit behind in terms of the professional athlete. Like, there's definitely guys that are getting there, but historically it's more of, these guys were cowboys and they would show up at the rodeo. They don't train for this. They show up, they tie their hand onto a bull and try and sit for 8 seconds, right? So I'm coming from a background where I'm a professional athlete. I put time in the gym. Physically, I'm, been working with my body, and I'm strong. And then I go and ride bulls with these guys that, they just tie themselves on and hope for the best. Like, and even with skiing and other sports, like, I know how to fall, and have awareness with, when the gate drops and things start going crazy, I'm able to slow that time down in my brain. And lots of people, like, when they said, most people, when they get on a bull for the first time and the gate drops, it goes black. For me, like, I had full control of what was going on. And I also kind of felt like when I came off the bull, like, I knew how I was landing. I knew kind of where the bull was. So I was pretty comfortable. And then also when it comes to, like, the different size of bull riders, being small is good. But I was so big that I felt I could actually hook my feet underneath the belly of the bull, where I actually passed the widest point. So I could kind of hook myself in there, and that kind of helped a little bit.
Okay, Reece, I do have to say, I have interviewed a lot of athletes, with big legs, you got the biggest legs in the league. In all of Canada, I can say that, all right? And I have some very good friends that are professional rodeo athletes, more in bareback.
Yeah.
But you obviously are tremendously, tremendously strong mentally, because I don't know how anyone could just get on a bull and just be like, yeehaw. Can we play a game? Can you just like sit with yourself and don't imagine that you're on a bull, but imagine that you're in the start gate.
Mm-hmm.
What's going through your head? What's going through your body? Where's your breath? Like, what are you feeling right before that gate drops?
So typically I'd like to run a lot calmer, I think, than most people. Fortunately, because I'm big and strong and stuff like that, I don't need to hype myself up to like, go quick and be snappy and be strong enough. So what I try to do is I actually calm myself down to minimize mistakes that like people would have when they kind of get in that like berserker sort of mode. So I try to be calm and controlled, and then when the gate drops, I'm able to just go off instinct. And because if you see some guys, they're in there, they're like grunting and slamming around, and they're acting like a bull in the chute, pretty much, right? They're just going like full primal. But I try to really be a little bit more controlled and calm, and then I keep my heart rate down, and then when I get on the track, I feel like it works a little bit better. And it's kind of like it's definitely a bit of like a toss-up. Like it depends. Like there's other courses, like even in Georgia, for example, I tried to kind of lift that level a little bit more, because I found that I was into my third run there. I was starting to kind of find I was getting tired, and I was kind of having to do the mental battle with myself a bit. So I wanted to I elevated my, I guess, intensity a bit in the start. And that worked well. But I try to be calm, and I usually just like run a couple things through my head, because like too, when you're in the start gate, when you're in the start gate and thoughts start coming into your head that shouldn't be there,
Yeah.
whether it's dumb stuff or whether it's things that are uncomfortable, or like we had a teammate, Michaela Martin, that passed away years ago, and when her name floats into your head and stuff like that, it's like it's okay. And so I usually say acceptance and stuff like that, because it's okay. Like if it's in your head, it doesn't mean you're not gonna pull out of the gate. It doesn't mean you're gonna make a mistake. It's okay that it's there, and just let it be there. It's fine. And so like I try to tell people, if if you put yourself in the start gate, you've already done everything right? Yeah. So you're not gonna mess it up. All you have to do is race, right? So once you get yourself to that point, if you don't think you're in the right mode, you are.
Yeah.
Right. So
that's a gorgeous answer. And there's a little swimming sentiment: if you got a lane, you got a chance, right? So if you're in that gate, you're doing it. You're there.
Yep.
You're there.
Oh yeah.
What does success look like for you in St. Moritz?
So I still don't have a World Champs medal from a individual sport. And thanks to Marielle there, we are able to get a silver at the team event. So I do have a World Champs medal. I don't know where it is in my house, but it's somewhere. But yeah, so I'd like, I definitely know that I can win, so I'd like to win. But leaving there with a medal is definitely something I'd like to see.
Leaving with a medal in St. Moritz, and let's go to Calgary Stampede this summer, buddy. I just learned so much about you, and this is so fun. God, Reece Howden, you've been so dominant in ski cross, but maybe you have a 2.0 career riding a bull, eh?
Yeah, we'll see. I'm not probably much of a bull rider, but we'll see. Might get into roping a little bit back home, and then also what I really have is I have a bulldogger frame. So we'll see. We'll see if I can get into that. But like all last summer, I spent helping out on a ranch, and it actually was funny because the reason I got involved with that ranch was because I was working for a road building company that was installing cattle guards. So I was basically surveying in these cattle guards, and I had an equipment operator that was digging them in and stuff. And the caretakers of the ranch came up and they were checking it out, because we had a few years ago we had the Adams Lake forest fire that ran through right past the home, and there was over 200 residents that lost their homes in that one, which was pretty bad. And so and we had to do all people were out there, replacing all the range fences and stuff like that, and cattle guards and whatnot. So so I was helping out with that, and they came out, and I kind of like, threw the card in that, I'm looking to ride some horses, and I, have a little bit of experience, but I'm looking to learn and stuff like that, and work and work for free. And so they're like, oh yeah, come on out. And it just worked out so perfect. It's funny because it's been like years that I was trying to find the right shoe in, and this was, and the next thing you know, it's 15 minutes from the house. And so next week I think I went out there, and we had a whole bunch of cow-calf pairs that had just landed. So basically it's a grazing management thing that we're doing out there. So all these cattle come in from Alberta, and we graze them during the grazing season, and then we ship them back. And so we got there, and then we had some horses that need to get started, and I had never started horses before, but I was willing to get on. And my mentor, he was probably like in his mid 60s, and sick of falling off of horses. So he said, if you're willing to get on, go for it.
Okay, so, and this is my last question, then we got to say goodbye. But like, do people know that you're falling off horses and bulls, and they're like, what, you two-time Crystal Globe winner, like, save it for the slopes?
Yeah, I usually, well, I don't introduce myself like that, but it depends. Like if I show up with the F-150 and I've got the Reece Howden sticker kit on the side, yeah, they pick it up pretty quick. But yeah, usually they start to ask some more questions like, what do you do? Well, I'm a professional athlete. And then I get to, you went to the Olympics? Yeah, you went to the Olympics. You have, and then next thing you know, they know who I am and stuff. But I let it kind of organically happen and stuff. But no, it was awesome, and I learned a ton, and started 3 horses right from scratch. And but fortunately, like he's pretty good at it. Like I don't fall off very often, so that's good.
Thank you so much for your time, buddy. And yeah, we got to go on some adventures this summer, perhaps to a few rodeos. Reece Howden, you're a beauty. Best of luck in St. Moritz. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much. Cool.